Vanessa, thank you. Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy, Sydney's home of sport, SEN 1170 AM. We are powered by Kubota, and we are here for Bryden's Lawyers. If you missed the first 2 hours, catch up on Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy podcast on Apple or Spotify or Instagram at Vossy Brandy SEN.
Well, the Lee Hadji Pentelis chat in particular, catch up on the podcast because I don't feel that any of us have discussed this, and the timing is perfect around the Dally M's. This one from Pete the Plumber. Wow, great insight into the Hayne case. This is the first I've heard of the observation by the judge, female, that the NRL player may well be innocent. As your legal expert has explained, in the eyes of the law, Hayne should be treated as an innocent man. The NRL cannot stand above the law. Therefore, Hayne should be afforded the same accolades as others. Thank you for the feedback, Pete the Plumber. Well, Melbourne and Penrith are the two teams with their feet up, figuratively. This weekend, they await in the preliminary final. It is locked and loaded that Melbourne will play on Friday week for a place in the grand final. The minor premiers, runaway minor premiers at that, sit back and watch the other four teams do their thing this weekend, and Penrith on the other side of the draw. Harry Grant was simply outstanding in their win on Saturday over Cronulla, and what's more, hat-trick hero, making a late run for Melbourne leading try scorer for the year. Harry Grant, try machine, welcome to Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy.
G'day, boys.
Now, I've got to ask you, when was the last time in your rugby league career, and it may be never, when did you last score 3 tries in a game, Harry?
Probably under sevens playing for the Yeppoon Seagulls. Would have been running around barefoot. Yeah. I don't think I had to do much work for them on the weekend, though. They were a little bit of cherry pickers, so I think I owe Big Ellie and Kingy some coffees this week.
He's pretty good, isn't he, Ellie Katoa? He's had a great season, Harry, and he's like a couple of back rows in the competition. I'm thinking Jeremiah Nane. He's very good under the high ball, and even a kick on the ground too. Very talented. Yeah,
I think if you look deep enough into El's history, I think he's actually a Queenslander somewhere along the line. So,
hang on. This is outrageous.
So he used to play bare feet too, didn't he?
I actually played with him growing up in Yeppoon, so yeah. We're actually cousins. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nah, he's bloody awesome. The way he's sort of taken this year on, I think, he did it last year, but he actually had a really bad eye injury. And he almost went on to win the Player of the Year awards. Almost went on to win our Player of the Year and he missed a whole heap of footy. So it does show how valued and respected he was last year. But he's just added to it this year, and he's been so consistent, and he hasn't gone backwards in anything. He's just kept going forward. So the way he sort of applies himself to training, to games. It's no surprise that he's putting in the performances he is.
Well, 6 points clear as the minor premiers. It's been a remarkable season that the Storm have had. And coming into the weekend's finals, Harry, I just commenting on all the sides, I said, well, Melbourne are probably the only side that have improved over the last 6 weeks. And I don't know whether I just tied it back in with the return of Cameron Munster. But it seems like Melbourne have been on a trajectory upwards, whereas a lot of sides were tripping over themselves coming into the finals. You blokes have got better over the last 6 weeks.
I guess we can, take that and run with it. But at the end of the day, it's, our next game, there's only going to be 4 teams left. We'll be one of them, and this time of the year, everyone's desperate. Everyone's, good enough to go on and win the competition, and it's just whoever turns up the best on the day. So, you've seen the weekend's game with the Bulldogs and Manly. It's a full 80-minute performance that you got to be willing and committed to turn up for. I think we're probably lucky that we had Munn come back in early enough. We've only had Xavier come back in for a couple games, so he's going to be better for the run too. But like I said, it's just exciting for us knowing that our next game there's only going to be 4 teams left in the competition, and we're one of them.
Now, Harry, can you pull back the curtains for us on your coach, Craig Bellamy? You get down to this point of the season, and you've been there before. Is he all business? Can you joke around at training, or is everything business? Focus is grand final premiership.
Joke around, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, joke around. I think that's the hard thing, and yeah, a lot of people think Craig's just this hard-nosed guy, and it's all very strict. But there's a lot of fun that's had around our club, and he's a part of it. He's very witty, he's very funny. He takes the piss a lot. He never shouts coffees. He's the tightest man in Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually think he went on the boys. Jerome, Pats, and Munn do a podcast each week. So I think they said they got to him last week and said if we won on the weekend, would he jump on the podcast? So I think he had a bit of fun yesterday. I think he went on a podcast with them. So stay tuned for that one.
Got on the phone with him. Yeah.
You'll have to chase this one up, Vossy, because my wife Tanya, she told me about it. She said, you've got to listen to this. You've got to watch Cameron Munster talking to Craig Bellamy about being on the podcast, and Craig Bellamy, you've got to hear it. Harry's laughing because he knows exactly what went on, and I guess we get the vision. Those that don't know Craig Bellamy, we just see him in the box. We see him in the box and we think, wow, you don't want to get on the wrong side of Craig. But there is another side, obviously, and Harry's just said that.
He smiled. He smiled before full time the other day. That must be like the highest praise. If the team caught a glimpse of that on the big screen at Amy, that'd be like, wow. Our coaches smile because you can be 30 up and he does a foofer valve when you drop a ball, or he just goes nuts.
Yeah, you see when Nick Meaney dropped that ball the other week, and we had a bit of a try scoring opportunity, and he was blowing up. But yeah, I think he's just very competitive. It was good to see a smile on the weekend. So we got a team meeting today, so that might even get a start in the team meeting. We'll see how we go.
Harry, do you watch much footy? Someone asked Jerome Hughes that, and he said over the weekend, and he said, "No, I was." He said, "I think he said he was at the Hawks game. He was watching the AFL. Now I don't know whether that means he's not watching footy. But did you watch the other finals?
Yeah, I love watching footy. So on the Sunday, I sort of just put the feet up and watched as a fan. I'll be doing the same thing this weekend. Looking forward to it.
Well, Harry, it's an incredible. Can you get it now? In all honesty, you must be thinking ahead. Like somewhere when your head hits the pillow at the night, you must be thinking about possible grand final. Or are you just going to tell me one game at a time? Or tell us about Harry Grant. Where you think one game at a time? Okay, we'll respect that. But
one game at a time. I think that's to be honest, I think that's one of Craig's biggest strengths. That I've sort of taken on board over the last few years, working alongside him, underneath him, and getting coached by him. There's no one that's more present in the game than Craig. So, he doesn't look too far ahead or who he's got available. Or who he doesn't have available. It's who he's got available and who they've got or who we've got now as a team. So, I think that certainly rubs off on the group, and we'll be put the feet up and enjoy watching this weekend's game, and then we'll know who we're playing. In a prelim.
Okay, now last one. This is just between you, me, and Brandy. What do Melbourne think they still need to work on? Where do Melbourne need to improve? Do you want to share that with us?
Well, we actually haven't really debriefed too much from the game on the weekend, so we've got a team meeting today, so we'll get a little bit of insight into the coach's thinking. I think the players have got a bit of a understanding, but I'm not sure. We'll keep going in the house, I guess.
Yeah, I tell you what you don't need to improve. That's your control. You got through 44 sets. I don't know if there's been a side that you had 46 sets. You got through 44 of them. So in terms of keeping the ball away from the opposition, you did a pretty good job on that. That's a lot of footy.
Yeah, we probably haven't done that all year, and it wasn't a focus for us. So, to be able to do that in a big final, and there's a number of guys that in our team that haven't played too many finals or, hadn't played finals at all. So, it's a good little reminder or insight into what it's like, and then hopefully we can maintain that with our preparation over the next couple of weeks, and then take it into the game.
Great stuff this morning. Thanks for making yourself available. Massive couple of weeks for Melbourne, and then maybe one after that. And then for you, Harry, a little bit of rep footy coming up, Pacific Championship. But that's all down the track, 1 week at a time. Mate, again, thank you for coming on the program. Good luck to the Storm.
Be present, boys. Yep, that's it. Thank you very much. See you later.
Good to talk, Harry.
Have a good day.
There we go. There's another saying. Okay, I still like put the fries in the bag, little bro, but be present. It's not bad, Brandy. Just be present. I'm going to write that one down
good.
right now. Be present. Okay.
Did you read the story in the
lawyers?
Yeah, just before we go to the break, did you read the story about the former Sydney Kings part owner, Paul Smith?
Be present.
Paul Kind. Yeah, they're jumping on board the Bears. They want a piece of the action.
15% share they're talking in the deal. Nick Ashman coming up for Sportsbet. You've heard Harry Grant on the program. We've got our Nico Hines psych-up piece still to come. Plenty more on Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy for Brighton's Lawyers.